What's going on, everybody? It's your host of the Morning Beer Podcast, Devereaux Davis. I'm doing a quick video today on my New York Mets. Basically, we're talking trades today. I have some scenarios that I think could potentially go down and potentially happen if certain things fall certain ways. Now, the whole Josh Bell thing is probably not going to happen as far as we're concerned. As far as Washington's concerned, Washington probably don't want to deal with us, and if they do, they want to get a high ransom for any player, be it Bell, be it Soto, be it even Nelson Cruz. They probably want to ask for over what they're valued. So this is probably something that we're not going to do a deal with in their division. So with that, we pivot. We have some good pivot options. Now, the main person over the last few days that's been getting a lot of surprisingly to me, been getting a lot of steam right now is Mancini. The reason why I don't believe Mancini was going to be available because Baltimore got so hot. They went on that winning streak, and there's no way I've seen that they want to break that up right now with them potentially making the playoffs, or especially giving up if they want to throw in a reliever or closer in there. Now, apparently they do want to get rid of Mancini, not get rid of, or see what they can get for Mancini, so they shop him around, see what they get for Lopez, which he was somebody that they got as a waiver, and he became an all-star. So they want to see what they can get for a person that they paid, that had a low risk in getting him, and they want to get a high reward from him. So it makes sense. So I can't knock that type of thinking. So Baltimore, we have the option of getting Mancini as a DH because our needs right now basically is a right-handed bat to hit left-handers. We already got Vogelback, who takes Dominic Smith's place, who's on the IL, right? So we have the left-handed hitter that's going to hit righties. Now we need to get a right-handed hitter because J.D. Davis is just not cutting it to hit lefties and to make the whole lineup better, period. We're lacking offensively since before the All-Star break against Chicago. We was only scoring 2 runs, 3 runs, but still winning. But that's not sustainable throughout the rest of the 70 games that we got left. So with that, and especially going against powerhouses like the Yankees and Braves and Dodgers, I think, come to New York at one point. So we definitely have to step up and definitely bolster this roster a lot more, especially on the offensive side. Bullpen is another help that we need, and to a lesser extent catcher. However, I do think we need to show up the catching position. Here's a few ways that we can do that. Now I believe more than one trade is going to happen. I'm going to give you 3 scenarios, 3 trades that could potentially happen. One, he's been getting a lot of sorry guys, I had to change the camera view because the camera was in the window and catching a lot of heat, so the phone wasn't working too good with the heat on it. Anyway, you can see the tattoo right there. You see that? It's healing up real nice. So it's only a few days old. It's not even a week old yet. But anyway, moving back on to what I was talking about. Right now, a person picking up a lot of steam right now is J.D. Martinez. So we're gonna have him replace J.D. Davis as our right-handed bat if we could make this trade happen. Now, Boston's in a weird place where you try to figure out if they're gonna compete or not compete. The way things are looking right now, is competitive as Baltimore's looking, as competitive as Seattle's looking, and as competitive as the East, the whole American League East as a total is looking. They're on the outside looking in right now, and is it in their best interest to sell? These are players that could potentially walk. They could get something for them in return. So, by all means, we got a few days to see if they're going to sell, but with that, we also can't wait to see if they're going to sell and lose out on potential other players. But if I had my selection, J.D. Martinez would be the number 1 person to put in the middle of that lineup to help push it. I said in my last video, along with Jose Abreu and Eloy Jimenez. But we're going to move on. If we was to do a J.D. Martinez trade, it would be probably a Dominic Smith, along with maybe a pitching prospect like a Dominic Hamill. He is a rental. The GM of Boston, Hein Bloom, likes Dominic Smith as a player, as a hitter, and he's low risk, high reward potentially, with his contract being on the lower end. So I could see Boston making that move if they want to. So moving on to what the real video is about, pretty much I have 2 potential scenarios I could see take place, and I think if we're looking to make this. If Steve Cohen went all in this year with the Scherzer and all this other stuff, if he's looking to really like really show that he's all in on his team, he has two potential moves that he can make. One move is only and solely with Chicago Cubs, right? Where they get all 3 of their pending free agents and 3 of their rentals in Ian Happ, Wilson Contreras, and Mr. David Robinson, right? Excuse me, sorry. Long morning, very tired. It hits all 3 of our potential needs. Our relief pitcher, our catcher, and our DH platoon right-handed bat. However, besides that, Ian Happ is all 3 of these guys are all-stars except for Robinson this year, but he was in the past. But Contreras and Happ are all-stars. Happ is not going to be platooning. Happ's going to be playing every day, but he's going to be playing in different positions. He could do almost what like a McNeil does. McNeil plays second outfield. Same thing with Happ. Happ is a second baseman, left fielder, and also could DH. So he has versatility there, which Buck Showalter likes. Same thing with Contreras. Contreras does not only have to solely be a catcher, and I'm going to talk more about the catching position. He can also play outfield. He can also DH. With that being said, you have versatile pieces there that you can move around, mix and match with already versatile pieces already in the New York Mets itself. So this would be something that a wet dream for Buck Showalter. Now, the catching position, the only thing I'm leery about is the fact that the pitchers rapport with Neto and McCann and the other catcher on the roster. They already have a strong rapport with him, and the fact is the pitching staff has been doing really good. Is Contreras a good receiver? Will he help a pitching staff? Because he's a catcher, he has to come in the middle of the season and learn the pitching staff and learn the tendencies and learn what to call, learn when to call and stuff like that. He's somewhat of a good framer, has a good enough arm, but not that great of a defender. Will this be something that could potentially put us going downward, or will it be something that potentially could have us going upward? Now, when we played Chicago, I wasn't that overwhelmed with Contreras' bat. I didn't feel like, I was seeing a real all-star there. But, everybody's not going to have, every game they're not going to do great. They're going to have 4 games where they're not going to do great, so it's understandable. But if his bat makes up so much that you could, that he's going to take a learning curve, learning the pitching staff over the first few games, I'm in on that, because we still have to fall back from McCann and Neto if we just need to put Contreras in the DH position, or if we have to put him in the outfield, which we already have a jam-packed outfield. So I'm in, however, if his bat plays well enough that it could get us over the top. Now, Ian Happ, same thing, except he's not a catcher. But if his bat is good enough, we kill 3 birds with a few stones, or 3 birds with 1 trade, because we get everything that we need, and we're going to get Robinson, who's going to play in the back of the end of that bullpen and totally be a great 7-man right now, with Ottavino and Diaz being the monster that he is right now. So I would love to see that trade. Now, what will that trade, what will it cost? What will you have to give back for that? So I'm already starting off with our 3rd top prospect, Mauricio, to give Chicago a shortstop of the future. They already have a center fielder of the future in PCA and pre-Crowell Armstrong, which they got from us last year. I'm going to give them a first baseman of the future / DH / 3rd baseman / left fielder in Mark Vientos, who's our 4th best prospect. I'm also going to give them Dominic Smith, who they also said that they were interested in, or from what I understand, Chicago's interested in him. So that's 3 starters that they're already going to get right there in next year's Chicago Cubs team. And I'm also going to throw in a Dominic Hamill as a pitcher. Let me know if that's too much or too little, or what you think about that trade. I might have to throw in a 5th player, because you're getting 2 all-stars back, even though they're rentals, and Robinson, who's having an awesome season. So you might have to give up a little bit more, and Chicago is looking to pretty much take what they can from anybody right now. Now, if you're all in Steve Cohen, do you make Billy Apple make this trade? where you give up some of the farm, where you get rid of Dominic Hamill, where you get rid of Mauricio, who has no real value more so than a trade piece on this team. Same thing with Vientos, because of who's already in these positions that these guys can play. Same thing with Dominic Smith, even though his trade value has gone down. So that's one option right there you could do. Just go all in with Chicago Cubs and get everything they got, and just give them these 4 or 5 players potentially back for those all-stars. Now, like we've been talking about before, Mancini's been hot, Lopez been hot as far as on the Mets' radar. As far as what that would entail as far as in the trade, you're talking about more so like a David Peterson, maybe a Khalil Lee, maybe a Plummer, maybe also a lower end minor leaguer, right? In order to get this return back for Mancini and Lopez, right? I'm okay with that. It's hard to give it Peterson, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, I understand his potential and everything, but I'd rather give him than McGill. If we can't do that trade with Chicago, if we can get back a Contreras at least, right, from Chicago, if we could potentially get back Contreras to play catcher, play DH, play outfield, right, and we have to give up a Dominic Smith and maybe a Dominic Hamill for him, right? If we could turn around and put him there and then get Mancini and Lopez to make 2 trades, get the catcher, get the DH slash outfielder, and also get the Lopez in the bullpen, I'll do that also. Let me know which deal you think is better. I feel like you don't give up as much if you do Contreras by himself, and maybe you could just give him Mauricio for him. If you do Contreras by himself and then do Mancini and Lopez, because I believe you could do 2 trades. All right, it don't only have to be one. There's only one if you're doing it with Chicago, and you get all 3 of those players. But you could do 2 trades for 2 bats, because I believe we do need 2 bats to compete against the Houstons, the LA Dodgers, the New York Yankees, the Atlanta Braves. I believe we need 2 bats. We don't just need 1. And if we don't make that, we can also do Contreras and Martinez, which we give up less. The only reason why you're giving up so much for Chicago, because you're getting all 3 of these players, and 2 of them were all-stars in 1 trade, so you have to give up a little bit more. So if you split it out this way, I can see 2 trades on the surface if they don't make that mega deal with Chicago for Ian Happ, Contreras, and Robertson. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think it's too much you're giving up for these players. Like I said, for Mancini and Lopez, it's going to be more so of Peterson, maybe more so of a Lee / Plummer, and a little minor leaguer for Mancini Lopez. For Contreras, it's probably going to be a Dominic Smith and a minor league player, or maybe a Dominic Hamill, or it could just be straight up Mauricio, just like what they did last year, straight up pre-Crowell for 2 players. Or you could just do the big mega trade of giving them a handful of players, Mauricio, Ventos, Dominic Smith, Hamill, and a minor leaguer for the package of Ian Happ, Contreras, and Robertson. Let me know what you think about that. Also, same thing when I said JD Martinez is pretty much hopefully should be available, and with that you might have to just give Dominic Smith and Dominic Hamill for that too. So let me know what you think about these trades. Let me know what you think the Mets going to do, and how you feel about what the Mets direction and trade deadlines happen, how it's looking. And on all in all, at the end of the day, let's effing go Mets. Peace.